Welcome back to the 3 of 7 podcast with Chad, Blake, and Chili. We got a full house today. What are you doing over there, Blake?
I had a thought come into my mind and I had to enter it into my notes so I don't forget it.
I figured you were doing some admin over there.
No.
Well, boys, where do we start? I guess we can start with the whole concept or the whole, I guess we can recall a memory of a few podcasts ago when it's the podcast episode was a winning culture, where I think I forgot to clap on this thing. There you go, Evan. The winning culture where Chili kept asking for a dang rematch on this 3 of 7 project swim bike run that we do. It's a 1,000-meter swim in open water. It's a 8-mile mountain bike and an 8-mile trail run. And you remember, Blake, when he was asking for a rematch, begging to do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, because last time we did Team PT, it was we did it as two-person teams, swim pairs. So we didn't get to push as individually. And so today we did our rematch where we all individually pushed to our maximum efforts on this Team PT. You know, I'm going to turn it over to you guys, man, because y'all the one that wanted a rematch. The old bull had everything stacked against him today. I did 6 sets of squats yesterday.
I don't give a crap what you did yesterday.
At 205, my legs are obliterated. I did a bunch of daggone box jumps. I did a bunch of push-ups. Like
Save it, Weenie.
Everything. The old bull did everything he could on purpose in order to give his team members and it's some sort of advantage.
Well, and CrossFit doesn't quite do it because you always talk about how CrossFit is just piddly and ain't nothing to it.
Listen, even if it was hard, save it, Weenie. I don't want to hear it.
Okay. And
plus, the rematch that I asked for was after the first one we did because I know how tired you get after a morning workout. So, and once we're deep in, about 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours in, that's when Chili starts coming alive. So that's when I wanted to do it. But this one was good too. I wanted this rematch. This will work. I would like to do it again this afternoon. But this one worked. And, I lost. I did. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not going to make some excuse. I freaking lost. We had to swim. I'm not a good swimmer. I got to get better. I know. We mountain biked. I hate it. Hate it. Don't got to get better at that. Stupid activity. Don't waste your time on mountain biking. It's stupid. If you're a mountain biker, quit. It's stupid. And we ran. You had 5 minutes on the run, or roughly. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I caught you. I ran hard to catch you. You pulled back even with me. You pulled ahead. We were in that home stretch, and you had about 15 seconds on me, and I couldn't freaking close the gap. We went up the hill. You beat me by about 20 seconds. So that's how it went. You ain't getting nothing out of me. No excuses. I lost. I suck.
No, you don't suck. You did a good effort. I mean, I know why you lost. I'll tell you why you lost here in just a little bit.
I'll tell you what you're going to say. You're going to say, I ain't got no grit. And that's bull crap, and you know it.
What do you think, Blake?
About what? About Chili?
About the PT.
Oh, it was a good PT.
Yeah, it was good.
I mean, listen, let me set the record straight for me. There is nobody out there that is in as good a shape as me, that is as good of a dad as me, that is as good of a husband as me. And so I'm fine with losing Team PT. It don't matter to me.
That's true.
I want y'all to hear what Blake, we were trying to come up with Team PT last night. Here's the message chain. I said, how about Team PT? What sounds good to you guys? Because we tried to revolve around the table here of who designs the team PT.
No, he designs every one of them.
That's because I asked you guys yesterday. Okay, here's the message.
Well, Chili gave you what he wanted to do, and you said, no, we can't do that.
It has to be within the time parameters as it fits in our day because we have to work. We know we can team PT from whatever time we want to start to about, 11 o'clock, noon? Because then we have to work.
I asked you the other day, we're going to do the triathlon. No, that'd probably take all day.
Well, dude, a team PT that's only 3 or 4 hours don't fit in my skills.
Here we go. What sounds good to you guys? Blake says, well, let's keep it reasonable. We have a call tomorrow, and we have to record a podcast. And I said, that doesn't sound good. How about you, Chili? And then Blake comes back before Chili can respond and says, if you guys don't want to get any work done, we can just train all day. We've already missed one call due to a workout. Why not miss another? Chili says, I say we go hard and tell those people we have a call with to eat rocks. And then I said, well, I should be so far ahead of you guys that I'll stop and take the call and still win. And then Blake says he's just going to CrossFit Rome. And I said no. And it goes on. And finally, we settled on redoing our triathlon because we needed to redo it anyways.
He settled on that.
Yeah.
Not we.
Did you eat ice cream last night?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. So here's what happened today. We did the team PT. You guys, you improved on your swim. I'm a little slow in transition. Here in a minute, actually, guys, for y'all to know what this podcast is going to be about, we're going to talk about why I or we train so hard and how this ain't just a daggone joke, son. We do a lot of joking, but we don't do this just to make jokes. And so that's what I'm going to talk about anyways. And yeah, we get done with the bike, and I start my run counterclockwise birthday loop, and I think, well, you guys, I'm gonna have to pass you guys, so I'll get a gauge on where y'all are at. And hey, I never saw anybody except for Brooke and Kelsey. And what had happened was, as y'all came out, instead of riding the power line, y'all rode the road down. And that's fine. That's fine.
That's not even true, though.
Well, it's got to be fine with no other instruction.
Well, I rode the power line, Chad. I mean, I don't know what they did, but I had that one section of road that I thought we normally ran when we do that loop the other way. So, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's easier to do the road.
I didn't do the road. You're acting like I went the whole way on the road.
Well, I don't know you had to have done it at some point because I never passed you.
I know.
Well, when you're trying to win something, would you pick the harder route when you know both routes are okay?
You have to do the actual course. I get what he's saying, but
well, yeah, I do too. If he laid out what the course was,
yeah, I guess if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Well, I didn't cheat.
So I never saw you guys. I didn't know where you guys were at. So I was thinking in my head.
Heck, I lost anyway, so it don't freaking matter.
No, it don't matter. I mean, you took the easier route and you still lost. And, hey, I was like, well, either these guys are so far behind me that I no longer even have to worry about running fast. I'm just going to enjoy my run. And then, which
that sounds real hard, doesn't it?
Which is not.
Well, I'll just mail it in here. Looks like I'm too far ahead.
Which ain't the right attitude. I'll agree with that. It's not the right attitude. But I'm like, this is no longer a race. I felt like it was no longer a race. So I either thought that or that you guys completely butchered the course, which you didn't. You just took the easier part of the course. So. I'm just bebopping along the trail, man. I'm rolling on probably about an 8-minute mile, 9-minute mile, enjoying my run, thinking, well, this ain't a race. It's just fitness, right? I'm just getting some fitness in. And boy, we come down off of the dry loop and hit that pavement. And old Chili, he come by me hauling the mail, son. I'm talking about he came by me hauling the mail in his Walmart uniform. That thing just flowing behind him like a cape.
He heard cleanup on aisle 3. He was gone, wasn't he?
He was laying it back. And I looked over at him. I said, "What course did you run?" And he said, "I ran the same course as you, Chad. I swear." He said, "I'll tell you about it when we get done." I said, "Well, there ain't no way you ran the same course as me because we didn't pass each other, but all right." And he pulls on me. I bet you pulled a good 0.2 of a mile ahead of me.
Well, good for me.
And I thought, son, whew, now it's a race. I didn't see that coming. So I started picking it up, right? You never look back, so you don't know that, but I started picking it up.
Well, no, I know that. You passed me.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think I was like, man, if this joker holds this pace, I ain't going to be able to pass him because we still had about 3 miles left to run. So it ain't like you could put on a booster and just, you would fizzle out if you boosted too hard. But
well, that's essentially what happened with me. I used all my chips to catch you.
You know what a lesser man would have done? A lesser man than me would have said, "Good gosh, that joker just come by me hauling the mail."
Well, a lesser...
Dude, I ain't no way I can catch that dude. That's what a lesser man would have done.
A lesser man than me could have said the same thing when he started the bike 6 minutes behind you.
No, because that fits your
strategy. Started the run that long behind me.
But you knew you were going to have to beat me on the run. You should have been mentally prepared for that.
I was.
Okay. So you come by me, and instead of me just sitting there and saying, "Well, there ain't no way I can catch that guy," you know what I did?
Isn't he awesome? Isn't this so awesome?
I'm wondering where he's going with this story.
This is so awesome,
he's
man.
He's still turning the spotlight. It ain't all quite on him
Dude,
yet.
our brother and our friend Chat, man, he is so awesome.
Hey, you know what the old bull did?
What'd he do?
He mounted up on that pale horse.
Hold on, I don't even have to ask.
How awesome is that, man?
I know.
How awesome is that?
Hey, son.
Dude,
he mounted up on that pale horse.
When
son.
I passed him, he didn't let that bother him at all, Blake. Isn't that sick?
It's astounding.
I mean, it's
gosh. That
gosh.
pale horse has been in the stable
How you have that?
since the mid-state mile. That pale horse, he's been in the stable just chomping at the bit.
How'd you get so good, man?
And buddy, when I mounted up on him today and gave him a little spur, son, he went to jumping. And he bucked a little bit, and I said, "No, boy, it's on, son." And look, I started clicking, all right? And when the pale horse starts to click, you better just move on out the way, all right? And we come around. He led me on for about a mile. We dropped down into some single track trail, little quick switch back right there. I took the inside corner, boom. Pale horse busted him. Never saw him again. Because the pale horse don't look back. When I'm riding the pale horse, I don't look back. Because, look, and here's why you lost. You ain't got no bottom end. You ain't built no bottom end up. You couldn't hit your shifter and move down to that little bitty sprocket, where you just start cranking them pedals, son, and you clicking, man, but you ain't got no bottom end, and grit is found in the bottom end, because here's the thing: you could have run faster.
So could have you. I mean, we've had this conversation before. It's hard for me to ever say I couldn't have ever run faster.
You could have run faster. Why didn't you catch me?
Every race I've ever done, I start thinking about how could I have run faster. You don't think that because you act like you hit 100% every time. No, you didn't.
That's what you call bottom end.
No, nobody ever hits that, I don't think. I mean, I try as hard as I can, and I'm not leaving anything out there, but I don't believe anybody's able to reach 100% of their potential. That's what I'm trying to do. But
I want to know why you didn't catch me and pass me again.
Because you passed me, I ran.
What did it feel like when I passed you? Did that mentally defeat you?
No.
What'd it feel like?
It felt like I had just done all this work to catch you, and now I was going to have to basically out kick you at the end. And I was pretty convinced I was going to. Actually, I was fully convinced I was going to. And then we started going down that single track. You were pulling away a little bit, but I kept you about the same distance at a certain point. And I was like, well, I just got to dig. And that's what happened. I did. Didn't make up enough ground. I mean, I'm infuriated with how this team PT went, okay? And I know that just makes you so happy. But I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, it's why I've lost races before. I didn't have enough left in the tank. Didn't have enough speed
That's called
left.
bottom end.
What the crap is bottom end? I mean, I finally feel like I'm coming around a tiny amount. And I don't have the speed I used to have. I don't have the fitness I used to have. I got to get race ready, man. And I got to keep getting healthier. And I mean, I'm tired of telling you that you ain't got a chance to beat me when I'm right. So I'm done saying that. I am not going to say that again.
Well, you know what I'm tired
of?
of?
No, I'm not going to say that again. I'm just going to show you here soon.
I'm tired of winning all the time.
Well, I don't get tired of winning.
Will somebody come and beat me at something?
Quit saying that crap. We get people all the
Will somebody come? Look, I put myself out there, man. Will somebody come beat me?
Let me design a workout. If you want to get beat so bad, let me design a workout.
You'll have that option. You'll have that opportunity.
Well, I ain't yet.
Take charge, son.
Well,
you know, you should have sent a text yesterday saying this is what we're doing for PT tomorrow.
Did I not, Blake?
He did.
Well, after I prompted him.
He still didn't do it.
I mean, you're in charge of what we do, essentially, so I can
He is.
do...
Blake's in charge.
Well, clearly not. I told you to be reasonable.
I mean, this is about ridiculous. Well, you know what we're going to do? Next week?
We're about to put him on admin leave is what we're going to do.
What we're going to... You know what? I'll just leave it a surprise, but I'm picking next week.
Okay.
You agree with that?
I'm cool with that.
All right.
That's fine with me.
What's that? Go ahead and tell me. What are the time constraints?
I'm cool with it as long as it fits within the parameters of our workday.
What are the time constraints?
What, Blake? 4 hours?
Yeah.
4 hours.
Can we do that and rest and do the podcast and then do again?
No. It's got to be a 4 hour training block. That's Team PT, man. That's the parameters of Team PT. If you can't win,
that's a pretty soft Team PT.
If you can't win in 4 hours, you just ain't gonna win because you ain't got no bottom end. That's the fact.
All right.
That's the fact of the matter. And so the old bull, he was mounted up on that pale horse, son, and he come on up that driveway hill. And
well, Chad practiced his bait and switch last night too. Did you notice that?
No. What'd he do?
He baited you with that video.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I knew he was baiting me, but I just still responded anyway.
It's like old fish says that. I know that chartreuse worm is not real, but boy, it looks good. Let me.
Yeah. Oh, I knew what he was doing, but I said, you know what? I'll respond. I'll let him know.
And
you don't faze me.
The interesting thing is you genuinely thought you were going to win today.
Yeah. Why is that interesting?
I figured you'd have known by now you couldn't beat me. Has it not been made clear?
No, it hasn't. And I don't know when when this one's coming out or when any of these are coming out, but next week from now, it'll be a Chili Design PT. Stay tuned.
Okay. Blake, what are you doing?
I was trying to look something up.
Trying to look something up. Have I not made it clear? Have I, Blake?
What?
This guy, Chili, he just ain't gonna do it.
I can't beat you at nothing.
Hey.
What about when we went and shot at the range the other day and you videoed me? What about when we shot at the range the other day and I pretty much outshot you and you refused to put the video out?
He put you on there looking like James Bond.
Yeah, he started. I saw that and I went, no way. He put the video out. No, it cuts off after a second. I look like an idiot standing there in my slides.
I couldn't post the video of him because he wouldn't take his finger out of the trigger well.
Well, it's because I got hot hands, man. I was staying ready.
Well, guys, I mean, that's all. I mean, I ain't going to beat this dead horse any longer. But I'm tired of winning every time.
What do you think's going to happen when I design it next week?
I'll beat you at whatever it is. You ain't got no bottom end.
Okay. This ought to be, finally, we're going to have a fun one next week.
Yep.
Gonna be a 5K?
No.
I'll beat him on a dang 5K.
I could be fresh out of the hospital, out of a 3-week coma. I'd beat you at a 5K.
Well, I've done a lot of thinking about this PT. Why do we train so hard? It's a good question because it takes a lot of time. It freaking hurts. I ain't gonna lie to you. Coming up that driveway hill on full blast, spurring that pale horse, I was hurting. I mean, I could feel it in the depths of my groin.
Yeah, we need to make these team PTs longer.
I could feel it in the depths of my groin.
You wouldn't have a chance if we made them actually hard.
You know, we put a lot into our team PTs, man. Why do we train so hard? I was thinking about this. Yesterday because I PT'd twice yesterday, actually. I did all that stuff at the gym, and then Brooke had to take pictures over at the high school. So I went over there and ran on the track. And I was asking myself that question. Why do I do this, man? Our days are numbered. Why do I spend so much time training myself? Why do y'all do it?
Go ahead, Blake.
Well, I do it because it makes your quality of life better. You're going to be around longer for your family, Lord willing. You're going to live a better lifestyle. It builds culture we talked about that, builds culture among the business here on our team. And I don't know. I've never put too much thought into it, but I sure ain't going to sit around and get fat and lazy. So that's a good way to not do that.
Well, for me, it's two reasons mainly. And I want to first draw the distinction of, because I'm in a recent transition period with why. My why, I guess you'd call it, has changed. Because beforehand, it was so I could win races, so I could improve my running ability, my overall endurance ability, whatever, to win races for myself. It was selfish reasons to add to the resume, whatever. Well, now I think of it different, and I think of it as, well, I don't know what God has for me, but I tend to think it is going to be in this arena and in this lane in some capacity. So I train for that purpose, to be ready for whatever God calls me to do. I don't think you can just refuse to train and refuse to prepare in every ways. It's more than just physical, but that's a part of it, and say that you're truly ready. So that's one. And the other is I do enjoy trying to get more out of myself and seeing where seeing where my potential is at and pushing myself. And it's just what I like to do. It just is. Mm-hmm. I can't think of how else I'd rather spend my time.
Well, another reason too is that in America has gotten so soft, you have to inflict this
Struggle.
suffering or struggle on yourself in order to prepare yourself for those times that will come. I mean, you think back like however long ago it was in America where everyone was out having to actually work hard with their hands. They wasn't doing all this crap because they did it every day for a living, you know. And we even interviewed someone here. I think it might have been Cornbread. He was talking about, you know, his pawpaw logged every day out with a chainsaw, hauling up pulpwood, and he wasn't going to the gym. It's everything he did every day, he learned what hard work was. And those lessons that you learn in hard work, whether it's working to earn money or you're out here doing what we're doing, they translate into real life. And those principles you're able to learn firsthand in a controlled environment so that you can implement them later on when you actually need the tool to get some job that actually matters done.
You want to know something too?
That's true.
I was on a podcast last September where someone asked me that question. They asked me, why do you train and why do you want to win races? And basically I had talked about being never satisfied with what I had done. And he asked me why. And if I'm never going to be satisfied, like I told him I could set a world record and I still wouldn't be satisfied. And he asked me why I was that way or why is that the case? And, you know, that was a big factor in kind of my struggles during that time and after that point. It truly was because I couldn't answer the question. I didn't have an answer for him. It kind of caught me off guard, and I really thought about it after for weeks, and I did not have an answer. I didn't have a good answer because it was all for myself, going back to what I said earlier. So, yeah, I just want to drive that home. If that's why you're training, it ain't going to work long term.
All good answers, guys. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell y'all why I train hard. And by the way, let me delineate the difference between the question that I'm asking and the question you might think I'm asking. I'm not asking you, why do you train? I'm asking you, why do you train so freaking hard, man? Why do you take this so seriously? This means a lot to me. It's what I spend most of my day doing. My free time anyways. All right? I'm asking, why do you train so hard? I'm going to tell you the first reason. Because I get to. Because I can recall many people that I've met along this journey in life that don't get to anymore. They're either in a wheelchair or they're sick or they're dead. And so I train so dang hard because I get to. And I ain't going to cheat my brothers that don't get to. All right? That's why I take training so seriously, man. That's why I don't mess around with this. Let me tell you another reason I train so hard. Because I owe it to you. I truly believe this. I owe it to you listening to this podcast. I owe it to you guys as my team members. I owe it to you to be the absolute best that I can possibly be every single day that I'm alive. And I'm cheating you listening to this podcast. And I'm cheating you guys as my team members. If I don't train as hard as I can freaking train, man. That's another reason I do it. Another reason I do it is because I owe it to myself. I owe it to myself to train as hard as I can train every day. Because if I cheat myself out of that, I will not maximize the potential that I have in this life. Y'all don't understand, man. This mindset that we have in training, the way that we train, it transfers into everything. There ain't no reason that we can't take over this entire earth if we wanted to. That's the mindset I'm in. Look, man, I take this crap seriously. I know y'all think I'm just joking, and I know y'all thinking training is just something you need to do to stay healthy. Well, that ain't what it is to me. I do it because I get to, and I ain't going to cheat the people that can't, that want to, but they can't. I owe it to you, and I owe it to myself to maximize the time that God's given me here on this earth. That's just 3 simple reasons that I train hard and I take it seriously. I don't go out here and sandbag this crap. I don't sandbag a single workout ever.
Well,
don't do it.
Well, we agree with all 3 of those, obviously.
That don't mean I ain't going to win. That don't mean I'm going to win every time. The fact that I'm saying I don't sandbag a workout, that don't mean I'm going to win every time. What that means is I'm going to go as hard. I'm going to come at you as hard as I can come at you every single time. You know that.
Yeah, you'd be cheating me if you didn't.
That's it.
Us. I mean, you.
I told you I owe it to you, right?
Yeah.
You know I'm cheating you if I don't come at you as hard as I can come at you.
Well, that's what I wanted to get clarification on. And, I mean, I really do. On when you said you train as hard as you can every day. Because I agree. I'm fully on board with that. But I think that's gotten me into trouble. We've talked about it a lot. You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean, as hard as you can? Because technically, I could probably go run 100 miles a day for a while. But I ain't doing that because...
Oh, that's a wonderful question.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a wonderful
I think we should talk about that.
You see, it's saying as hard as I can, not as hard as my physical ability will allow me to train. There's a difference there. So training as hard as you can, that don't mean to go outside the parameters of what's healthy. Training as hard as you can means building the best freaking machine that you can build, son.
So training as hard as you can means optimizing training, not just going out and, if you're running, putting the most miles in that is physically possible.
It's exactly right. It's building the best possible machine that you can.
I wanted to clarify that.
There has to be an aspect of being smart in this arena too, which makes it more difficult.
Yeah.
It makes it more difficult. It really does, man.
No, it does, because that's what's been part of maybe what my mental block has been lately, because I know how to train hard, man. Trust me. I don't know how to train smart sometimes.
Yeah,
I really
you ain't
don't.
got a governor, Chili. Someone needs to put a governor screw on you and dial it in.
No, I mean, truly, anybody who thinks they train hard, I mean, yeah, I feel like I understand. I can do that. But there's people who train smarter than me, and I've had a hard time with that. And that's why I wanted to clarify that and say, yeah, I've had struggles with that.
But you better be honest with yourself. You listen to this podcast, you better be honest with yourself. If this is resonating with you and you've decided you're going to start taking your training more seriously so you don't cheat yourself, your team, and the people that can't. If you decide you're going to do this, the way this works ain't you have a day where you don't feel like putting in a good training block. So you say, well, I'm just going to blame this on being smart. All right?
Exactly.
When I say you don't feel like training, not that something hurts, not that something is wrong with you, but you just simply don't feel. You'd rather sit on the couch and watch your daggone Netflix. All right? So you say, oh, this is actually smart. I'm going to take a rest day. You got to be honest with yourself, man. You want to do this right.
From the other angle of that, of me having a tendency to work hard when I shouldn't, it's difficult for me to figure out what is smart. So whether it's coming at it from that angle of like you have a tendency to do too much or you have a tendency to do too little, it's still, both of those people have to figure out how to optimize their training and train smarter. And that can be a difficult thing. And I don't know if you want to hit on how to do that, because you hear a lot of people say, listen to your body. And
that takes years.
That's what I was going to say. Like, that ain't some easy, that ain't something that you can just read one time and go, oh, okay, I'll just start listening to my body. It is so hard to do that accurately and efficiently. And I mean, you cannot do it when you're starting out appropriately. You can't.
No, you can't.
You may could stumble on the right answer sometimes, but it takes the reps to figure that out.
Yep.
And that's part of what part of what any down period in training can be, is you figuring it out and coming back into the next one, having made an adjustment, and it'll be better. So it's going to take trial and error.
Yep.
But that's just part of the process. And if you give up on that trial and error, it's giving up. So
I just wanted to make it clear to both of y'all and everybody listening to this that the way that we operate, it ain't no joke to me, man. It's for a reason.
It's not a joke to us either.
And that's the reason I go. Next time y'all see me going hard as crap and you're looking at my back end, now y'all know why I'm doing it.
Well, you're telling us like we didn't already know that.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if y'all realized it. I thought y'all just might think I was just doing these team PTs just because it was fun and I liked training. No, that ain't the reason I do it.
Well, I'm aware of that, Chad. I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like
I was running on that football field. I was running around that football field yesterday, and I thought about my cousin, Jacob Newberry. Jacob was killed by a drunk driver. He didn't die in a car accident. He was killed by a drunk driver. And Jacob played football for the high school there that you graduated from, Blake. And I was running around that field yesterday, and I was thinking about Jacob. And I got off the track, and I walked across the field. You know why I did that? Because I get to. I just walked across the field. Because I get to. He don't get to anymore. Figured I'd share that with y'all.
Well, another thing to consider, we always, particularly you two, drive home the physical training, and that's good. That's really important. But there's more to life than training physically. You have to apply this idea of training hard to other areas of your life too. You can't get so hung up on just training physically that the rest of your life falls to shambles and you're just a specimen of health, because that could easily happen and people could easily take it that way.
You will never become a specimen of health if you don't focus on like you're focusing on, Blake.
Well, I mean, you could be in very good physical shape. You could be just
physical
an animal, but the rest of your life be in shambles. And it was physical health. It's not complete
That's
health.
unsustainable.
Yeah. So I know we drive it home, but I think a lot of times we take for granted and think that most of the listeners understand that. Maybe most of them do. But for me, it's always worth mentioning that we're not leading other people astray that think, dang, if I just go train all the time, the rest of this, it's going to make me really good, and then I'm going to be good in the rest of the areas of my life too. That's so if you apply what you're learning and training to the rest of the other areas of your life, and if you're reserving enough time for those areas.
Yeah, because you know what? I trained for years as hard as I could. And I mean that. And it did nothing but make me physically healthy. My mental health deteriorated. My spiritual health was deteriorating before my eyes. And that's exactly what happens when all you focus on is the physical. So that's a great thing to bring up because, and I did all that training by myself too, which I don't think is a bad thing, but I did everything by myself. And that's what's been cool for me about the Team PT and why we've driven home to every listener of why you should do this in some form or of train with other people, train with your team, train with your family. I don't know how it will look for you, but I mean, it's more than the physical of why you train with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, they make you better. You want to know why I'm able to be in the shape that I'm in and have everything else I have going on? Because my wife gets to stay at home and take care of the kids while I go out and do this stuff. I wouldn't have done this triathlon today if it wasn't for y'all. If we wasn't doing Team PT, I just wouldn't have done it. I would have went down to CrossFit or whatever. I would have done something, but I wouldn't have done that. So I'm in better shape because of you guys, because of my wife. I'm a better dad because she allows me that time to do other things and pour into the kids more. So it's your team that makes you a better person.
Yeah, and if I hadn't met y'all, I would be running 20 miles on some trail miserable today. By myself, freaking miserable. Probably missing some event that my family was at. Not giving a crap about it. Not talking to anybody. Getting in my own head, frustrated why I wasn't running faster and why I wasn't seeing results. And so that's my alternative. That's what I would have been doing today if it wasn't for Team PT. Truly, that is what I would have been doing. So,
well, and Chad talks about going hard, even physically. It's in that window that you've allotted yourself. If you say, I got 2 hours to work out today, then that means go, I'm going to say safely, but,
take it seriously, man.
With regard for your health,
yeah,
and go as hard as you can in that 2 hours. And know when the 2 hours is up, go do whatever you want. I mean, go sit on the couch, spend time with your family, do something productive. I'm not saying do nothing, but take a wrap off and forget the physical part. And now it's time to transition. We talk about transition into what's needed next. It's the whole principle behind the be hard when it gets hard.
It really
right?
is, man.
I mean,
you're exactly right, Blake. I talk about training hard. Well, I got up this morning and I read my Bible and I ate some good food this morning and I trained physically hard, and I'll go home and spend some evening with my wife this evening.
Yeah.
And so, yes, that's it, man. It's all encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
Complete.
Yeah, it's complete. And by no means am I trying to say sound self-righteous, because I screw this up, guys, quite often. I had to send a text to my team the other day telling them I'm not too happy with the attitude I've been having over the last week. Sorry, guys. All right? So I screw this up, but I'm looking literally to I aspire to be the best. Not just in a competition amongst your everyday people. I mean, when I say I aspire to be the best, I mean that. The best human being.
Yeah.
And that means that you're walking a pretty fine edge, right? The better you aspire to be, the harder you're going to have to push, which means there's less room for error. And that's why y'all see me fall off the edge of the razor so often.
Well, it depends on how close I'll think of it maybe like a bowling alley or something. The closer, if you could move those bumpers in, the more you're going to hit them, right? But if they're way out, you may not ever hit them. You might just bowl down the middle. But
exactly.
If they're right there, just much bigger than the width of the bowling ball, then you're going to constantly be hitting them And that's just going to make you try to get a little bit better to where you're not going to. So the tighter parameters, the tighter razor edge that you can walk, really the better you're going to be. Yeah, you're going to mess up more, but it's because the parameters you've put on yourself or the expectations on yourself are so tight that those things are going to come up.
The mistakes you make are highlighted.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not as grand as if the bumpers were way on the outside. Your mistakes aren't as grand as if you went off in the gutter, but you recognize them much sooner before they get too far gone, you know?
Yep. 100%. Well, that's all. I mean, that's what I wanted to talk about today. As I asked myself that question as I was running yesterday, and I thought, and I was watching the sunset, thinking of Jake, which is he's no longer here with us, and I was like, this is one of the few days I get on earth as a human being. Why am I spending so much of it training the way that I do? And I had to. That's what led me to asking that question. So, yeah, that's the best way I can answer it. Maybe y'all get something from it or not. I don't know. But, what did you have, Blake? I saw you was taking some notes over there earlier. Did you have something you wanted to talk about?
No, I was looking up something else. I couldn't find it.
What the crap?
If I'd have found it, I could have talked about it. But the only thing I could bring up, I was looking last night. And me and Chili talked about this on the ride up, is just thinking of Jesus as the lion and the lamb, and how really us as humans kind of have one or the other personality. There's really nobody kind of in between. You're either more on the lamb side of the personality or the lion, and you look for those things in Jesus. And in your Christian walk, if you're a lion, you look for the lion qualities of Jesus, the hard on folks, and almost like you love the verse about Jesus coming back from heaven. It's because you got the lion characteristics of yourself. And then you look at I think of like Brooke, and y'all are the opposite, right? I mean, Brooke's got more of the lamb, the loving, peaceful qualities, and that's what she looks for in Jesus. And to me, it's just interesting. And as I read through the article that was talking about that, it was just asked the question at the end of be conscious of which one of those you are, and understand that Jesus is both the lion and the lamb always. He's not just one or the other. He is always both. And which one are you leaning in too heavily? Because that's just who you are. It's not that it's wrong, but which one are you leaning into too heavily and not paying attention to the other, because they are both Jesus, and you're just as wrong either way if you're not leaning into both of them. I just thought that was a interesting article.
That's a hard dynamic right there, boy.
Yeah.
No, I like that, Blake. Have you noticed Chili's been blinking with one eye?
No, I hadn't noticed it. I can only see one eye.
He's been blinking just with his left eye.
I see it flutter. You think he might be winking at somebody?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I would talk about why I do that, but I think it's time to wrap this up.
Well, anyways, I think this I'm hoping this conversation that I share with you guys inspires you to get better. That's ultimately what I want. All right. I mean, you got everybody listening to this podcast. I hope this inspires you to get better so that you can give your best to your teammates. Your ability, your whatever you want to call it, greatness, is going to be determined by your nearest opponent. All right? That's just like it played out today. It's funny how I made that post and then it played out today. Like, I wasn't living up to who I am today until he passed me. I was nowhere even in the neighborhood of living up to who I am and who I know I should be until he passed me. And when he did that, it allowed me to live up to who I say I am. And if it wouldn't have been for him doing that, Chili doing that, then I would have just freaking had a good run.
Yeah, and that's a mistake.
But that would have been it. That's right.
I mean, in the context of a race or whatever you want to call it, it's not a race, but yeah, that's a mistake.
No, it's a dang race.
Well,
I take
me too.
I take it just as seriously as there's no prize at the end, but I take it seriously.
It's a mistake in that context.
Yeah.
So,
well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, man. We've got a big month coming up, and we're looking forward to all the opportunities that we have coming up this month. We thank you guys for tuning in to the podcast, for pouring into the podcast, the reviews that you've left. I mean, I asked you guys to leave me some reviews, and as of today, we are at 1,010 reviews.
Nice. 5
stars. So thank you guys so much. And I'll just read one of these right here. 22 Cheapster. This is the one podcast that I've listened to over the years that hits all the emotions. It's spiritually uplifting, motivates, teaches, and starts the healing process of places I didn't know I needed healing. I had just gotten used to the pain. There has not been a podcast since I started listening to the podcast that I haven't had a good cry. I'm not ashamed of this. Each time I cry, I feel less and less alone. More and more, my eyes are open to the miracles of God's love for all his children, not to mention the banter the hosts have between each other. I belly laugh at each episode too. So, awesome, man. Thank you so much for those kind words. That means a tremendous amount to us here at 3 of 7 Project. This is the reason why we do this, because we hope it helps somebody. I hope you guys get some enjoyment out of it. And it's just so, it fills our cup back up when you guys go leave us those comments, leave us a review. And when you guys, especially you guys that support us on Patreon, unbelievable, man. You remember when I created that Patreon account? I said, we're going to make this thing, because we had a couple people ask how they can support 3 of 7 Project in some, monetarily, I guess. And we didn't have anywhere to send them. And I said, I'm just going to create this thing so that people that are feeling led to support 3 of 7 Project can go here. I think we've got like 220 patrons now. And we just made this account because people were asking for it.
Yeah.
And it's
pretty
just
cool.
mind-boggling.
A lady sent me a message on Instagram last night, and her and her husband, they just signed up for Patreon, and they were just, excited about Resurrected and stuff. And she put in there, we canceled our HBO subscription so that we could afford to be on Patreon. And to me, I mean, I just thought, wow, that's just really cool. And I wish more people would be that way. Not because it's our thing, but that you would sacrifice something that you realize, I'm sure they realize, this is just HBO. It's just TV. We can do without it. And if we invest it here, it's 3 times a month, but we're going to get so much more. I hope that's what they're thinking out of it than we are HBO. And I don't know, to me, it just meant a lot that someone would take something away from their life that they obviously enjoyed. I mean, they wouldn't have been subscribed to it if they didn't. Take that out of their life in order to invest into 3 of 7 Project in hopes of returns on their spiritual life and everything. So it's just
and
really
it don't
cool.
have to be 3 of 7 Project. It can be whatever you're passionate about, man.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful example.
Yeah.
But you know, for me, man, it's just so humbling to think. And for you guys that are out there that may just be getting started in whatever, a business or an idea or a brand or whatever it may be, and you feel like you have no direction, you feel like you have no traction, you feel like you have no audience, you feel like you have no way to get the message out, all right? Understand
you.
Yeah, we've been in that exact same situation, and by no means are we do we feel satisfied with where we are right now. We're still little guys in as far as the amount of people that I want to push the gospel message that we share here at 307 Project. I want that to be reaching millions of people every week. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
Millions. Right? Not a million, millions. And but we were in that situation not long ago where we said we're just gonna do this, and we're just gonna keep showing up. And the same thing that works in physical training, we talk a lot about consistency being one of the most important aspects of running. It's the same thing with anything else that you're doing. If what you're doing is good, if it's according, what are the three standards for prayer? If it's according to God's will that He's revealed to us in His Word, the Scripture, if it's with the right intentions, and then what was the third one?
Having faith.
And you believe in what you're doing.
Yep.
If you just keep doing that and showing up consistently, it will work. It will work. Now, if you have the wrong intentions about it, or it's not according to God's will that He's revealed to us in Scripture, or you don't believe you can do it, I don't care how good the crap is you're putting out, it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
I don't care how consistent you are, it ain't going to work. Just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. You got anything else, Chili Weed?
No, man. Good one.
Start taking this crap seriously, man.
Don't end like that. You know I take this serious.
I know you do. Blake, start taking this crap seriously.
So does he. Maybe not. Maybe not.
I don't even have to banter with Chad at the end of this episode about this.
All right, we love you guys. Nuff said.